Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ugandans, friends, I'd like to address you today on a very sad and serious issue. And this is the ongoing killings in Uganda. All of you will recall that Dictator Yoweri Museveni has been killing Ugandans for over 30 years. He started when he was in the bush in the Railroad Triangle. This was covered up, and very little is talked about it in the history books. But many of us know that 80% of the people that died in the Railroad Triangle were killed by Dictator Yoweri Museveni and his henchmen in order to convince the population that the previous government was bad and killing them. It worked for a while. After the so-called Liberation War, killings continued immediately after and many years after the so-called liberation. Many of you will recall the killings in the eastern region, the so-called Mukura Train. Soon after that, Dictator Yoweri Museveni wanted to decimate the northern region of Uganda. In fact, he committed genocide, and a prolonged war with killings, rape, murder, extortion, abductions continued under the guise of fighting Kony. Up to now, after 30 years of the so-called strongman, Kony has not been captured, and people continue to die with no explanation. Of more recent, you know about the Kasese killings in the Bundibunyo and Rwenzori region. Again, this was genocide. Because some of us made a lot of noise about this and were beginning to attract international attention, Dictator Yoweri Museveni has changed his tactics. He's now killing one by one, two by two, three by three, not thousands at a go. All of you know that killings are going on day and night in and around Kampala, whether it is university girls, whether it is young women, whether it is abduction of small children, allegedly for sacrifice, and now at the hands of the local death units. Now, Dictator Yoweri Museveni calls them local defense units. But I would like all of you Ugandans from today to change that abbreviation of LDU to local death units. Over the last 2 years, he has trained more than 10,000, and I understand now he's going to recruit another 13,000. These men are not answerable to the police, and no one knows whom they answer to, except, of course, Dictator Yoweri Museveni. They are not obliged to be in uniform. They can be in uniform. Some are not, and therefore it is very difficult to identify them. They don't carry IDs. There is no protocol for them when dealing with the public. And there is now evidence that all around Kampala in other towns, the so-called LDUs or local death units have common civilians, steal from common civilians, rape women, and kill. Many of you would have seen online a video posted of a recent killing in Mengo, where a border rider was killed by 2 people. Now, these looked professional. They knew what they were doing. They cannot be common civilians. Sadly, Dictator Yoweri Museveni continues to steal public funds in the name of security. Again, I'd like to remind you of the very expensive facility that he built at Natete to have public cameras manned 24 hours a day, the highest technology in the country. What are these for? If so-called common criminals cannot be apprehended by these cameras, the police are doing nothing. It would appear that those cameras are not for the protection or the security of the population. They are for harassment, they are for intrusion of their private lives, and to make sure that the opposition is harassed 24 hours a day, because they'll pick up a small congregation saying it is an illegal gathering. And this is picked up by the cameras, and the police come within a minute. However, these cameras cannot pick up murderers who kill, thieves who steal, abductors, rapists. What are these cameras for? Especially since they are paid for by the taxpayers' money. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make this very brief, and more is going to come on the different methods that Museveni has been using over the years to kill people, and nothing is done. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to free our country. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to get rid of Dictator Yoweri Museveni. Enough is enough for God and my country.